Strings are one of the most widely used data types in all programming languages. It is basically a sequence of characters enclosed in between either single quotes or double quotes. So it's, if you want to declare a string, you can write it in between single quote, or you can write in between the double quote. So the Python doesn't differentiate between the single and double quotes if you want to declare it as a string. Okay, there's also a triple quotes that you can use that we'll have a look at a bit later. So for now, if you want to declare a string, you can basically write str1. I'm just declaring a string str1 in between single or double quotes. So here we have a string which is declared in between double quotes. You can also use single quotes to declare a string. So this basically is, both of them are strings, so there's no differentiation between these two strings. So let's suppose if you want to have single quotes inside your strings, okay, in that case you can declare your string in between the double quotes. So what I'm trying to say is, I have a string something like this. Inside string I wanted single quotes, something like this. So you have to enclose it in between the double quotes. But what if you want double quotes inside your string? So in that case you will have to enclose it in between single quotes. Okay, but what if you want both single and double quotes inside your string? So let's try to do that and see what happens. I have a single quote, right? So I also want some, I have a double quote right now. I also want some single quote inside my string. So if I try to execute, it will give you invalid syntax. So basically it's expecting single quotes. When you start single quotes, it is expecting the next single quote to be the end of the string. Okay, so in that case you will get syntax error. So I want Python to ignore this. So to ignore this, you can make use of escape characters. So in that case it will escape this one, and it will try to fetch the next single quote to end the string. Okay, so if I execute this, you will have both double quotes and single quotes inside your string. So I also talked about the multi-line strings, right? So if you want to, the triple quotes string. So the triple quotes strings, if you want to have multiple lines in your string, so basically if you are declaring a string, you are expected to write the entire content of the string in a single line. Okay, but if you want to have more readability inside your string, or if you have a lot of words to write inside a string, you can make use of triple quotes, and you can basically write multiple lines. So here's an example of triple quotes. So let me write some text here: multi-line string, line number 2, line number 3. So let me print. So in this way you can have as many lines you want. So this basically increases the readability. So now let's see how to add two strings, or concatenate two strings. So let me declare string 1 equal to hello, and string 2 equal to world. So if you want to concatenate or add these two strings together and form a single string, you can basically make use of the plus operator. So let me write str3 equal to str1 plus str2, and let me print str3. So we'll get hello world. So even if you write the two strings together, it will also concatenate. Even if you don't write the plus operator, it will still concatenate. Let me try to show an example. str3 equal to hello. So in this case I'm not writing the plus, I'll directly write another string, and let me print str3. So in this case also both the strings are concatenated without even using a plus operator. So next let us look at how to loop through each and every characters inside a string. So let me define a string which is equal to apple. So if I want to loop through each and every character and print it line by line, okay, so you can basically write for loop on a string. So when I say for I in str1, I'll just print each character in a string. So you can see that you can write a for loop on your string. If you write a for loop on a string, for each iteration it will give you a character, okay, apple, like this. So I want to make a quick note, right? Whenever you are declaring strings or using variable names, please don't use the same variable name inside the for loop as well. So what I'm trying to say is, for example, if I declare a string I equal to xyz, something like this, right? I will say print I, okay? So the value of I is equal to xyz. So we are fine with that. So now what I will do is I'll write a for loop. I'll write for I in I'll write some string abc, and then I will simply write print I. So this will do its task. It will print each character inside that string abc. Okay. Now again, if I just say print I, what do you think the value that you are expecting? You're ideally expecting the value of I should be equal to xyz, right? But if you execute this line, the value of I will be equal to c, because the last time, because you've used the same variable name here for I in abc, the last time when the loop was iterated, the last iteration, the value of I was equal to c. That's why the value of I is equal to c and not what you expected as xyz. So to avoid these kind of things, better not to use the same variable names inside for loop. So let us now take a look at indexing in Python. So indexing is basically all about getting a specific character from a string. So if you have a string, for example, A, B, C, D, E, the indexing of the strings in Python starts from 0. So let's suppose if you want to access A, which is the first element, right? So the index of A will be equal to 0. Okay, if you want to access A, you can give in this string index of 0. So if you want to access B, which is the second element, it will be 1. So indexing starts with 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this is how the indexing starts in Python. So let me try to show you a simple example here. So I'll declare a string str1 equal to A, B, C, D, E. So if you want to access the first element, I told you, right, if you want to access the first element, which is nothing but A, you should make use of the index 0. So if I say str1 of 0, you will get the first element. So if you want to access the second element, what is the index of second element, which is equal to b? It is the index is equal to 1. So if you write str1 of 1, you'll get b. So in the reverse way also you can index. So what I'm trying to say is, in the reverse way the indexing starts something like this. It will be e will be equal to -1, d will be equal to -2, -3, -4, -1. So this helps if you want to access the last item, right? So in this case the last item, or the e, you can index either with 4 or you can index with -1. So if I write str1 of -1, you'll get the last if I write -1, you'll get the last character, which is equal to e. So what if you want the last second character, which is equal to d? So you can index it with -2, right? So if I write str1 of -2, you'll get the last second character, which is equal to d. Let me just rewrite this again so that we don't have to scroll up and down to see the value. So there is something called length of str1. So what this basically gives is the number of characters inside our string. So how many characters do we have? We have a, b, c, d, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, right? So the length of str1 will basically give you the number of characters, which is equal to 5. Okay. And also while indexing, you can also write something like this: length of str1 -1. Okay. So what will this evaluate to? Length of str1 is 5, and what is 5 minus 1? It is equal to 4, right? It is equal to 4. So str1 of 4 is equal to e, which is nothing but the last character. So this is also another way of indexing the last character, right? So if you want to get the last second character, you can write length of str1 of -2. Okay, this is basically just equivalent of just writing -2. If you can observe here, -2 also gives you d, and length of str -2 also gives you d. So that's about indexing. So let's now focus on something called slicing. So slicing is all about getting a specific part of a string. Okay, so you know that the indexing starts with 0, right? So what is slicing? Let us understand first. If we have a string, for example, a, b, c, d, e, f, g. Let's write h also. So what if you want the a, b, c? You just want these three. So you can make use of slicing here. So you know that the indexing starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, right? So if you want to get the first 3 characters, you can make use of slicing, and you have to pass, I want to get the index from 0 to 2. So let me try to write that. So str1 of, so what is the value of, we'll declare it again. So we'll say I equal to a, b, c, d, e, f, g. Do we have h? Okay, let's write h, a, b, c, d, e, f, g, h. So what I want is, I want the from this entire string, I want only the first 3 characters, or from index 0 to index 02. So from index 0 to index 2, or abc. So I can write I of 0. So this is my start index. Okay, colon, I'll write the end index. I'll write 2. Okay, if I execute this, ideally I should be expecting C also, right? But in Python you don't get. So if you write 2 here, you will not get 2 also. 2 will also not be included. If you want to get 2 also, you have to write 3. So when you write 0 is to 3, you will always get 1 less than this. From 0 to 2 you will get. So that's how it is in Python. Just have to remember this. So if you want to get ABC or the index 0, 1, 2, 3, you have to write from 0 to 3. Okay, the last one will be excluded. So now you know the format of this indexing. You have the start index, you have the end index. So what if I write something like this? I'll write 3 is to minus 2. Sorry, 3 is to minus 2. What do you think we will get if I execute this? So let me also write the negative index here. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7, minus 8. So what I want is, what I wrote is I of 3 is to minus 2. So what is the index of 3? Which is equal to D, right? And what is at the index minus 2? So G. So you'll basically get D, E, F, G. Do you get G? No, because you'll always get 1 less than the end index, right? So if you write 3 is to minus 2, you'll get 3, 4, 5. I mean the D, E and F. So let us verify that. So you'll get D, E and F. But what if you want in the reverse way? So what I'm trying to say is I want H, G, F like this. So input is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I want to get H, G, F. So in that case there is a third parameter you can give. I'll say I of the starting index is 7, right? From 7 I want F, so I need to give 1 greater than that, right? So 7 is to 4. So there is another parameter which says it can be either minus 1 or plus 1, which indicates the direction you want to get in the reverse direction. So you'll get H, G and F. So this is the third optional parameter which indicates whether you want to get it in the same direction or in the reverse direction. So I want to discuss something about strings. Strings are immutable, right? Which means that, so strings are immutable, which means that we cannot alter or delete elements inside a string, but we can delete the entire string. So let me try to demonstrate what I'm trying to say here. Let me declare the string again so that we don't have to go scroll up and down. I already told you that, right? So if I declare this string I is equal to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, so I want to demonstrate that strings are not mutable, right? Which means that you cannot alter or delete elements inside a string. So what I'm trying to say, if I write I of 0, so I want to replace A, so I of 0 is A, right? I wanted to replace the A to Z. So you cannot do this kind of things. So it will give you an exception saying that string object does not support item assignment, which means that you cannot alter any elements inside a string. Also you cannot delete also. So when I say delete I of 0, I wanted to delete the first element inside the string. Then also we will get string object doesn't support item deletion, which means that in other words, which means that the strings are immutable. So later on, when we talk about lists, you can do these kind of operations. When you declare a list, you can replace the first element or delete the first element. So these kind of operations you can do on list, but with strings you cannot do it. But I also said that you can delete the entire string. So this is not permitted, this deleting a certain element, but deleting an entire string is permitted. So if I say delete of I, so this has been deleted from the memory. So when I execute this, when I want to print the I again, you'll say name I is not defined, which means that I has been deleted. So let us say you want to check if some letter exists inside a string. Okay, you can write some statements to check if some letter exists inside of. So I want to check whether B is existing in our string. So you can write a statement something like you can write something like B in I. So if you write a statement like this, it will give you the boolean result, true or false. Result equal to B in I is a statement which will give you the boolean result. So we know that B is inside our string, right? So result should ideally be equal to true. So you can write these kind of statements on the string. Okay. So let us now look at some of the most widely used built-in functions in Python strings. So as the first case, let's try to convert the first character to uppercase. So there is something called I dot capitalize, string dot capitalize, which will convert the first character to uppercase. So if I write, let me declare it again. So if I write I dot capitalize, it will return the string where the first character is capitalized. Okay. Let me declare one more string, I equal to A, B. So this time I want to find out how many times A is repeating in our string. So we can see that the A is repeating 1, 2, 4 times, right? So I just wanted to find the count of A inside our string. So we have a built-in function to find the number of times A is appearing on our string with something called count. So inside count you have to pass the character that you want to find how many times it has repeated. So this time it will return it as 4. Okay. So now what if I write I dot count of AB? So what do you think we'll get? So we will get 1 because AB, AB is repeating 2 times, right? That's why you'll get 2. So if you write ABC, you'll get as 1. AB is also appearing 2 times. Okay. So if I write ABCE, you'll get it as 1 because it is appearing once. Okay. Now what if I do something like this? I dot count of I. What do you think we'll get? Any guess? So to understand this much better, what we'll start step by step. If I write I dot count of A, it will give 4, right? So what if I write A B C D? It will give 1 because this entire string is appearing once. If I write AA, again it will give 1 because we are finding until here. So what if I write the entire string? So in this case also you will get 1. So this is, instead of writing entire thing, if I write just I, both are equivalent, right? So in this case also you will get 1. So there are also some optional parameters inside the count. So let me try to show that. I dot count of so let's say for example I want to find the count of A after the index 0 1 2 3, after the index 3. So after index 3 I want to so not like that, sorry. There are two optional parameters. A, I want to find the count of A in between A and in between 0th index and 4th index. So I can write 0 comma 3. You can see that it is repeating 2 times. So in between 0 1 2 3. So from A to C, how many times it is repeating, so you can give here. So there's something called ends with. So this will basically check whether a given string ends with a certain character. You can pass the character here. So in this case the character ends with S. So if I give S, it will give you true. So if you give A, it will give false. So let us check if we have starts with as well. If we have starts with, so if we pass A, you'll get a boolean result which is equal to true. So there's something called find, which accepts which accepts string. So if you write I dot find A, it'll basically returns the first matching characters index. So it is A is appearing here, right? So the first time it is appearing here. So the index of this is equal to 0. So I dot find will return 0. So similarly, if I write I dot find of S, it will return the index of S. So what if you are trying to find out index of something that does not exist? Let's say I write Z, you will get -1, which indicates that this particular character does not appear in the string. So let me define one string I equal to ABCD 1 2 3 4. So this is an alphanumeric string, right? It contains both alphabets and numbers. So there is a check. There is a function which can check whether the given string contains only alphanumeric characters. So it is alphanumeric. Okay, this will return you boolean result which is equal to true because it contains both alphabets and numbers. So if there is also something called is alpha, which checks basically if the string contains only alphabets. So in our case it should return false because it contains both alphabets and numbers. So if I write something like ABC and if I write I dot is alpha, so in this case we will get true because the given string contains only alphabets. So what is the function to check whether the given string contains only numbers? So there's something called is decimal, which checks whether the given string contains only numbers. So our string does not contain numbers. So if I write I is equal to 1 2 3 and I dot is decimal, it will give true. There's also functions to check whether the given string is in uppercase or lowercase. So if you write I dot is upper, it gives you true because all of the characters are in uppercase, and if you write is lower, it will give false because all of them are in uppercase. So if you want to swap the string, the case, like if you want to change the uppercase string to lowercase, there's something called I dot swap case. Okay, now it is in uppercase, right? If you write, if you execute this, it will return a string which is in lowercase. So if you want to remove some white space characters inside a string, for example, if you have empty spaces A, B, C, D, E, in both the left side and right side we have some empty spaces. If you want to remove or trim the string, so if you want to remove the empty spaces from the left side, I mean if you want to remove this particular empty space, you can make use of I dot L strip. Okay, so this will trim the left side. So if you want to trim the right side, so you can make use of R strip. So if we just use I dot strip, it will trim both left and right side. Okay, so if you want to replace characters, right, for example if I write A, B, C, D, E, okay, I want to replace A with Z. So you have a built-in function to, you know, if you want to replace the given character, I dot, there's something called I dot replace. So it will basically not replace this particular string. Okay, it creates a new copy of string and it will return. So you know that strings are not mutable, right? So this function, what it does, it creates a copy of this string with a different character and then returns it. So if you want to replace A with Z, you can make use of this built-in function I dot replace. Replace what? Replace A with Z. So this will return Z, B, C, D, E. So there is a function called split, which will split the given string based on a certain criteria or certain delimiter, and it stores the results in a list. Okay, so let's say for example I have a string which is comma separated, A, B, C, comma D, comma E. So there's a built-in function on this string which is called split, which accepts a delimiter, right? So based on what conditions do you want to split this string? So I want to split this string based on comma. So if I execute this, it will return me a list of characters. Okay, so A, B, C, D, E. So that's about all the most widely used, built-in functions on strings.